Welcome. Good afternoon again. I'd like to welcome everyone. Thank you for coming to honor the 2023 Los Alamos Living Treasures, Barbara Califf, Don Cobb, and Joyce Nichols. These citizens who have helped make Los Alamos the wonderful community it is. I'm Nancy Coombs. I'm new to the board this year, and I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity to read the many heartfelt nominations that we received. It just makes me feel so blessed to be living in this community. This is the 24th year of the Living Treasures Award, and I know that we have quite a few of our members who have been selected in past years as Living Treasures. If you have and you're here, if you could stand up and let people see who you are. And thank you so much, everyone. This is a great community. We have pictures of all the past Living Treasures, which at some point will be hanging again. They used to be at the bank, and they're now looking for a new home. So I'd like to acknowledge also the other board members and ask those who are here to please stand. Our chairman is Ann Hayes, who I believe is here, Cindy Booth, Don Casperson, John Fitzpatrick, Craig Martin, Pamela Massey, Kate O'Donnell, Kyle Wheeler, Jenny White, and Sally Wilkins. In addition to the board, I'd like to thank Jim O'Donnell, who takes the photos for our Living Treasures, these beautiful portraits up here. Jean Gendreau of Pack 8, who is back here filming. This will be on the Pack 8 channel later on. And also, I'm not used to having notes. Bernadette Lauritsen. She interviewed our 2023 Living Treasures, and she provided some really, really thoughtful, excellent biographies that have been in the Daily Post. If you didn't get a chance to see them, we have many, many copies over there. Feel free to pick one up on your way out or later on. We also have the programs. If you didn't get a program, in here we have the biographies. I will just give a little bit from each biography, and then the plan is that you, the friends, family, loved ones of our Living Treasures, will come up and share some anecdotes and some of the special things that these people mean to you, because they're probably things that we haven't heard as community members. Our award winners then will come up and we'll present them with a picture, certificate, and a medallion. So we would like to finish the ceremony by 3:30 so we can gather for delicious treats in the Curtis Room. Trujillo Farms is providing our catering this afternoon, and we'll have a chance to mingle. Please keep any comments 2 to 3 minutes. If you see me, it means your time is running over. So thank you very much. Beginning alphabetically, our first treasure this year is Barbara Califf, who is here she is, front row. Yay. Now, because I don't know Barbara personally, I've taken some from her biography, but I know all about the League of Women Voters, so I've heard of her for years and years and years. Barbara was born in Chicago, graduated from Scarsdale High School in New York. I graduated from Pleasantville High School in New York, so there you go. She graduated in history in 1968. From University of Chicago. She next attended UC Berkeley and much later Angelo State University, Texas, where she received her teaching certificate in 1988. Barbara and her husband Chuck moved to Los Alamos with their teenagers, Brandock and Rachel, in 1989. She immediately became an active member of the community. Many of us know her from her years of work with the League of Women Voters, but she also participated in the development of the Comprehensive Plan for Los Alamos, and as a member of the League of Women Voters Observer Corps, she attended and reported on planning and zoning meetings and council meetings for many years. Barbara served on the executive committee of the Pajarita Group of the Sierra Club in the 1990s. She participated in the work to remediate the damage to our forest after the Cerro Grande fire. She also loves cross-country skiing and hiking, and I'm hoping some of her hiking partners will be here to make some comments today. I'd like to invite those of you that know Barbara and would like to share something to come up. There's chairs there and chairs there. If you come up and sit in a chair, if you want to comment, then we'll be able to move through this quite quickly. We have 2 mics. This is the mic that's broadcasting to the room. Right here is the mic that Pack 8 is capturing on video, so please, if you see me waving another way, it could be because I'm saying stay near the mic for Pack 8. Jean will let me know. Okay, who would like to go first? We'll start on this side. We'll start on this side.
It's my honor. Ooh, that's loud. My honor Okay, so I have a question for all of you. What do nature and politics have to do with each other? Well, not much. Nature is outdoors, politics is indoors. Nature is being by yourself, politics is being with people. Nature is wildness, politics is all civilized, mostly, and tame. Nature involves plants and animals. Politics is us humans. Okay, but the question I posed was, what do nature and politics have in common? And of course it was a trick question, because the answer, at least one answer, is sitting right over there, and that's Barbara Califf. She loves nature and the outdoors, but she's equally passionate about the indoor world of politics. So when I first met Barbara, it was on the trails, and we both loved being outside in the glorious mountains and meadows of New Mexico. And now she's become the leader of the Wednesday Irregulars, a really old hiking group that was founded way back at the beginnings of Los Alamos, or Los Alamos County. And she now keeps the records of all the trails that are hiked and figures out what is going to be next Wednesday. And she tells us, hold your breath, on Monday. And so then we find out. But hiking isn't always nature. You're chatting away on the trails, and pretty soon you're talking politics. And so she then became an active member of League of Women Voters, working, of course, majoring mostly on politics. And she's been the League president for many, many years. So what we do in the League is we study issues. Not candidates, that we're nonpartisan, but lots of issues. And of course, a lot of them do have to do with nature. And my favorite one that I have to tell you is abolition of the death penalty. And that was the first one that she led, and it was quite the topic. It took a long time. Eventually, the League came to consensus and were allowed to lobby on that. And it passed. It only needed Bill Richardson to sign it. And she and I went and talked to him. He said, come and talk to me. Tell me what you think. And of course, we convinced him, so he signed it. And of course, we're thinking about him for other reasons today. So the League does lots of other lobbying. In the county, it's been lots of things like transportation, public transportation, affordable housing, land use, water use, things like that. So she does lots of good things for the whole state and for Los Alamos. And if you want to measure somebody by her influence on politics and nature, there she is. And we thank you, Barbara, for all your good work. So, thanks.
Thank you. I'm Jody Benson, and I've known Barbara for some years. And all of the stuff that Becky Shanklin said is, of course, true. And I would like to add, the reason that I nominated Barbara is because she is a leader. She's a leader locally, statewide, and even nationally. And Barbara accomplishes what she accomplishes not only through personal dedication, which you've heard some stories and you'll hear some more, I'm sure, yeah. Personal dedication, but through her leadership, because she studies, she explains, she teaches, she inspires, and few teachers, few leaders could have cajoled so many people into participating in so many efforts, and I bet you've been cajoled out there too. I mean, Bill Richardson, come on. And I'm sad about Bill Richardson, by the way. Anyway, so many of us, I'm sure all of us who know her, respect her, trust her, and because she's taken the time to educate us, we want to help with the issues that she is so passionately involved in, because we want to be part of her passion. And in this small town, there are only a few people who do a lot of work. And Barbara Califf is one of those. And so I want to show you, here is the community. Everybody in here is contained by the community. And within this vessel here, the community, are all of us. all of us who are doing so much in the community. And here are the leaders. These are the leaders. Each of you, look at the front row, are still living treasures. Here are you. And it only takes a little bit of you to inspire the rest of us. So thank you very much, everybody in here, for being part of this beautiful community. Thank you.
Oops, thank you. There you go. Next.
Hi, I'm Rosemary Fredrickson, and I'm a longtime neighbor of Barbara's and a longtime league member, and have been inspired many times by Barbara. I want to especially congratulate her for getting this honor. She certainly deserves it. You heard all of the things she does, but she also bakes bread and has tried to teach me. And she also has taken me out on hikes and told me that I'm not too slow to go hiking with her, and I appreciate that. And I want to thank her for all the work she has done for the League and for the many inspirations she's given me.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Richard Sayre. I'm a newcomer in Los Alamos, actually. But I'll cut to the chase. The world is really a better place because Barbara's in it. And we're all very appreciative of that. And we've heard a number of comments about her efforts in state government. One of the things that's really impressed me about Barbara is that she always enters into a challenge, probably the smartest and most dedicated person in the room. And so she really searches out the details of any subject that she's interested in. And she brings also an ethical rigor that is, sadly missing much of today. So these are some of the traits of Barbara that we've learned over the years. On the local level, as we've heard, she's been leading the irregular hiking group for some time now. That means, of course, as was said earlier by Becky, that she puts together trails and hikes on a weekly basis. But then there's the weekly, the monthly or annual trip, where we go for a week. And that involves nearly 30 trails, putting together options both for people who are very good hikers as well as those that aren't. And so this is another aspect of her character is inclusiveness. And that means that both people who are both experts at hiking and those that are maybe a little more challenged have options. But of course, Barb is well known for taking off trail. And many of us think that she actually likes blowdown. Many of the hikes she leads happen to have a little of that, and if that feature is available, she'll certainly take advantage of it and lead us off into new frontiers. On a personal level, Barb is always there for people who are in need. If somebody is sick or they need a ride to a doctor's office, Barb is there to help out. And finally, I want to comment on her pies. Among the best pies, I hope that she will enter the Pie Town contest in the near future. That's coming up on September 15th, if you're not ready for that. But just a wonderful person, and again, I'll finish off by saying the world is really a better place with Barb in it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello to everybody. I had 3 or 4 really great things to say about Barbara, and I was going to really impress you, but it's all been said. My last one was about the pies. But one of the things that impressed me about Barbara is often when you see somebody who is so involved and so expert in things. They're a little distant. They really live on a different plane and everything. And Barbara doesn't do that. She's right down with you. Although she does know how to make you feel guilty about not really doing some of these things in a pleasant way. But one of the things that impressed me, I started out being a pretty strong hiker with the hikers, and I would always be up in the front, and then I was in the middle, and now I'm at the back. And when you go on a hike with Barbara, people don't notice this. Often hikers spread out, all kinds of things happen. And the friskies, as Barbara calls them, are up ahead and they don't care about everybody else. Barbara does. She makes everybody stop, makes sure everybody's there, makes everybody feel wanted. And I think that ability to stop and make sure everybody's there and make them feel wanted extends to almost everything she does. Thank you, Barbara.
Would anybody else like to come up and make a comment? Then Barbara, we'd like you to come up. Woo! First, I'd like to present you with the pendant of the Living Treasures, and if you don't mind, I'll see if I can get it over your head. Okay. Wow. The flower, because we appreciate you. Also, at the end of the ceremony, please take one of the vases of flowers home. We have, and you don't have to hold this all, we have a smaller copy of the photo for you, and a certificate that you can frame and, share proudly. Would you like to share a few words?
Sure.
A little bit of a force there.
So I'd like to thank the Living Treasure Board for doing this and all my friends who nominated me. And I'd like to say how much I've appreciated the League of Women Voters over the years. And I suggest anybody who hasn't joined already join. I've learned so much. There's so many issues that I never would have bothered to investigate if I hadn't been a member of the League. And it's really been a great educational experience, and I think it's made me more of a leader than I was already. And of course, we're so lucky to live in Los Alamos with all these trails, wonderful places to explore. So thanks everybody for being part of the community.
Okay, thank you. We are going alphabetically, so next up, Don Cobb. Don, from a small town in Iowa, discovered his fascination with science in middle and high school in Rockford, Illinois. With a BA in physics from Northern Illinois University, an MS and PhD in theoretical nuclear physics from the University of Iowa, he came to Los Alamos with his wife Connie and 2-year-old daughter Paula in 1970, soon after daughter Allison was born. He was a deputy director at the laboratory and served the Lannell Foundation from 2005 to 2014. Don and Connie started a scholarship program with the Lannell Foundation in 2015. Sadly, Connie passed away in 2018 after 55 years of a wonderful marriage. Don served on the board of the United Way of Northern New Mexico for almost 10 years between 2006 and 2015, making lives better for many New Mexicans. In 2015, his work led to the formation of the Los Alamos Community Foundation with co-founder David Israelowitz. He then continued to serve on the board until 2021. As a member of Bethlehem Evangelical Lutheran Church since 1970, Don has served on a variety of committees and did much outreach, eventually working with the Interfaith Alliance, assisting international refugees who relocate to New Mexico. He continues to do this with assisting with backpack drives for refugee students and with back-to-school drives in the summer and coat drives in the winter. This year, Don agreed to join the board of directors for the Los Alamos Retired and Senior Organization, which operates both senior centers. Now, we would invite those who would like to make some comments about Don to come up. Oh, come on. Okay, it's a race.
You go ahead, David.
I will show you first.
So my name is David Israelovitz, and I could say a lot about Don. I don't know how good his pies are, but no good. So, given all his involvement, I'm surprised that I've only known Don for 10 years. And the way that I met Don, or found out about Don, is when we had a little idea about a community foundation in Los Alamos. I would talk to the United Way, like Christy Ortega is back there somewhere.
Oh, Daisy. Right here.
Oh. I hope I don't say anything you're going to say.
I know, I'm waiting. It's good.
And she would say, well, you should talk to Don Cobb. Okay. So then I talked to people in the Public Schools Foundation. I think it was Joanna Gillespie, and she said, well, it's an idea, you should talk to Don Cobb. And I think I may have even talked to the Landell Foundation, and somebody there said, yeah, it may have been Tony, you should talk to Don Cobb. So I thought, maybe I should talk to Don Cobb. So we met the summer of 2013, and we sat in the Iowa cafeteria because we only go to fancy places for discussions. And I told him a little bit about this. He was very unformed, very open-ended, and he said the most magical 4 words in the English vocabulary if you want to start something, which was, how can I help? And I'm sure many of you in this room have heard those 4 words from Don. And that shows a couple of different things. That he's just eager to help, even if it's not his own idea. That he has that humility that belies his reputation, and that he wants to make a big change. So since then, he was just instrumental. He was really the compass. I wouldn't say the moral compass because that would make the rest of us look bad. But he had that direction about what we should do, how we should do it. And maybe the last, another expression of his humility and his self, not deprecation, but his self-view is he said, it's time for me to step away and to let other people bring their ideas in and other people to bring their energy in. And that ties back to how can I help? And he thought that the way that he could help was also by stepping away and letting other people follow in the footsteps that he had set. And again, I would probably say something that he has touched many other people in the same way. So I want to thank him for being a friend, for being a leader, and for getting this crazy idea off the ground for which he has as much responsibility as anyone else in this community. So, thank you.
Thank you. Well, I didn't prepare for this at all, but here I am. So my name is Christy Ortega, and I had the pleasure of working with Don Cobb when I was working with the United Way of Northern New Mexico. And I didn't realize he was such a big person at the lab until much later in meeting him. So when I first met Don, I came into an executive boardroom for a job interview, and I was wearing a real nice new suit and looking around the table, and I knew most of the people there. And then I got to the very end, and there was this kind of stoic looking gentleman at the end who I didn't know, and I was got instantly nervous. I don't know what it was, but I was like, I don't know who that guy is, but he was very intimidating. His face was very serious. It was like a job interview, so there's all those elements. It was Don Cobb, so I didn't know at the time. So over the years, Don and I became pretty good friends. He was on the board at United Way and I was working there, and Don would bring in coffee to us pretty regularly, and until today I didn't have the nerve to tell him I didn't drink my coffee without creamer, so I would keep creamer in the refrigerator because he would always bring black coffee. So here it is, Don, I drink coffee with creamer, so next time you drop by my office, just FYI. Later found out he was a Chicago Cubs fan, so we actually got to enjoy a Cubs game in Arizona one time together. We happened to be there same place and same time. Had the pleasure of meeting his wife, Connie. When I met Connie, any doubt I had about Don being a nice guy was alleviated, because if he was good enough for Connie, he had to be a good person. So I knew based on Connie's judgment that Don was going to be okay. So it's been a pleasure knowing Don. I was honored to be invited here by him and to be able to be a part of nominating him. Lots of people in this room know Don, as David said, and he's done a lot of great things. And I hope he'll take a minute to relax, but I don't see that coming. So congratulations. Cubs baseball in October. Thanks, Don.
Good afternoon. I'm Cindy Padilla. I'm also with United Way of Northern New Mexico. And as maybe you all know, actually probably many of you are donors, and I just want to say thank you and take an opportunity to thank you for being a contributor to United Way of Northern New Mexico. And as we start this year's campaign, our campaign is the power of you. United Way organizations make many people feel valuable, they make many people feel loved, and they make people feel enough. And too often in a world today, we don't feel that. But meeting Don and having Don as part of United Way and the donor that he is and the man that he is and is witnessed by all of you, he always makes people feel valuable, loved, and enough. So I just want to thank you, Don, for everything that you do. Thank you for shepherding me when I started with United Way several years ago. And as David said, you know, he comes into the office and his words to me are, how can I help? And I really appreciated that, because he just didn't need to be asked, he asked us. And that really is the sign of someone who cares about our community. And I just wanted to say the analogy of the food color with the water. I mean, isn't that really cool? Because it really makes you visualize what a difference one person can make in a community. And all of our living treasures and all of you, I'm sure, and I know, make a difference in the community. So again, Don, thank you for making a difference and being who you are.
Did you want to go? You were up first.
Hello again. I knew Don back in the formative days when we were trying to make something on the lab together. We ran into each other, got to know each other because we were both group leaders of a group in what became the environmental science, Earth and Environmental Science Group. And as near as I can tell, the outstanding group in that division was Don's group. These were the space science people who did all kinds of really amazing things very quietly, but if you looked into it, you saw that he had managed to put together quite a team of people. They became lab fellows and everything else. But you never know it, because Don's demeanor is one of being sort of cheerily amused at life. Things are going to be what they are, and it's going to be fun, and we're going to do it together. And so I just thought I'd add that aspect of his career, which was a really good scientific aspect.
Hello, my name is Tony Fox. I work with the Lano Foundation. I've known Don since 2005 when he joined the Lano Foundation Board of Directors. Provide instrumental leadership to our board when we were first, in those first critical 10 years. And I got to know Don through those years in other capacities, the community foundation. What I really appreciated also was as I got to know Don better, I realized just how important family was to Don. And if you know Don, you realize this. Family is the most important thing to Don. And I think that came through when in 2015 they approached me and wanted to create a scholarship fund for students in northern New Mexico, students that were pursuing teaching. And I asked Don, I said, what is it about teaching that is the criteria that you're really most interested in? He said, well, my daughter Paula is a teacher, and I've watched her through the years struggle to find the resources and the support that's needed. And we just want to lift up, Connie and I want to lift up the teachers in this region, not just here in Los Alamos, but throughout northern New Mexico. And I thought that really spoke to the man that he is and also to Connie. And lastly, I'd just like to say that I've had two incredible mentors that have shaped who I am to this day. Don Cobb, you are certainly an incredible mentor to me. The others in this room also, Bill Watt. And I just feel incredibly proud to see you up here today, Don, getting this award that you are richly deserving, sir. So, thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone. Nancy, only giving a pastor 3 minutes, not fair. Just saying, okay, but I will move through this quickly. My name is Nicolene Verdu-Ferry, and I'm blessed to be the pastor at Bethlehem Lutheran Church, where Don is a member, and it is a great joy, dear one, to be here with you this day. So many things have been said about Don in many ways, but it has been my complete honor to know Don for 18 years through our relationship at Bethlehem. And to see what God has been doing. You guys may be like, why is she wearing that yellow shirt? It's so bright. But this is our annual event in our larger church, just to be out in the world. We all have things we do within our faith communities, but this is our time where we are out. And it is so appropriate that it is on this weekend, dear friend, because you are that person as well. And as you all just heard, Don has been here since the 1970s, and with his wife Connie raised their two beautiful daughters here. Don has served as an assisting minister for worship leadership and has been a critical member of our endowment team. He cared for the donations others trusted in their giving, and he has just helped us so tremendously in that. He's been on our council as a leadership for the community, and he also works on outreach team, bringing hope and resources to those in need outside of the walls of our church. And I have to say, most recently, I've also been just in awe of how, Don, your joy when your grandson Nathan was here this summer. So Nathan, his grandson, had where's Nathan? Dude, what's up? Good to see you, friend. I want to hug when we're done. Okay, fine. Nathan, I was asking Nathan, I'm always so curious about how our students do in our community and what their experience has been at the lab. And Nathan, seriously, you just glowed with all the opportunities of how people just trusted you and empowered you. And to watch your grandfather beam through his dedication to the lab, his experiences at the lab, it was absolutely such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I will carry that forward with me as well. And then, friends, as a pastor, I get to see people in many different ways. So I will tell you, friends, like, I can't compare with the pie thing because I haven't had pie at Dawn's house, but I will say to you, when I go to visit, I'm a weird Lutheran pastor because I don't drink coffee. And that's like sacrilege in my denomination, whatever, but I love tea. And Dawn sets a beautiful table of tea with a full teapot and cups, and it is absolutely incredible. So if anybody needs tea, please go talk to Dawn Cobb, okay? It's just beautiful. And so I did, like about a month and a half ago, I went over to visit, and the minute I walked into his house, there were, in a perfectly symmetrical lines, about 30 backpacks for children. I mean, and I was like, I just want to stand here at the door right now and look at all of the differences it will make for the children who come into this country who have no resources and who want to so much be a part of the educational process we have in our country, and how that little thing makes a huge difference, sir. So that is another beautiful thing I will carry with me. And then, dear one, with all my heart, I wish your bride was here, because I loved her very much. And what I do know, that she's cheering you from afar. And as best as we can comprehend the mystery of our faith, she is here in spirit. And you are living all of these things out of the love that the two of you shared. And I know that you say you are a better person because of the love you shared with Connie and the love that you are surrounded with in this credible family that you have, this family that you do love from the depth of your hearts, is so much a part of what you do for all of us. And so, my dear friends, my life is richer because of Don Cobb. I am so blessed to know him. Our community of faith at Bethlehem is richer because of him. And Los Alamos has a new, beautiful living treasure, and our community is better because of that gift. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, one more.
I'm Bill Watt. I've known Don in many capacities, but I want to talk about one that you probably don't know about. Denny May and Chick May. But remember we had a bear festival recently? Well, when the word bear comes up, it means something else to Don Cobb. It means stress, anxiety, frustration. Because during those great Star Wars days, Don was in charge of a project to launch an accelerator into space. So BEAR stands for Beam Experiment Aboard Rocket. It's the only time the lab has served as the integrated contractor for a space shop. Don was the lead. And there's a reason why we've never done it again, because Don wouldn't do it again and there's no one else who could have done it. But what that was, that experiment, the accelerator, hydrogen atoms, add an electron to it, then they're charged and you can accelerate them. And then you can strip that electron off after they're going really fast and you get what's known as a neutral particle beam. And the idea was that might be able to shoot down enemy rockets up in space. So Don led the project to see if it would actually work in space. They shot it up from White Sands, was that right? Yeah, from White Sands. It went up, it worked, and Don was so relieved, but I can't think of anyone else who could have done it. He's a community treasure. He's also a national scientific and engineering treasure. Thank you, Don.
Oh, last but not least, by any means. Oh, I'm sorry. Those 2 minutes stretched and stretched. Come on up, Don Cobb. We are not stereotype believers, so you also have some of those, which you can share as you like. Come on up and I'll try and get this on you.
I have a big head.
You do? But it fits perfectly.
It does.
Okay, it's your turn.
Oh, good. Thanks for a turn. I don't know how to follow all of that very well, but I will try. A couple months ago when I was finished up exercising over at the senior center, I walked out of the exercise room and there was Ann Hayes and she said, "Come here, I want to tell you something." And it was sort of shocking, kind of flabbergasting, talking about a living treasure, because I had no idea this was going on. It was really something. So I do want to thank the Living Treasure Board, and congratulations to Barbara and Joyce, my fellow awardees today. It's a terrific honor, and it's very humbling. I don't have much time. I was told just try to keep it short. So I can only respond to a few, although what I really want to say is volunteering in this community is a joy to anyone. And the rewards are not only do you feel gratified because you're doing something that's useful, but you learn a lot. You learn a lot of things that you didn't learn in college studying physics.
you learn about people, more about people and their needs, and particularly in the opportunity to work with people who are dedicated to helping people. That's a fantastic aspiration, and you get a lot from just interfacing with those people. So I have to say, respond to a couple. David Israelovitz is probably the epitome of the civic servant in this community. Learned so much just from being with him and learning about him. His vision is Winthrop's City on the Hill, and he carries that with him wherever he goes. So you can't help but learn by just being around David. In the United Way, when Christy was the executive director, I was, for a while, I was the president of the board, and we were moving because they wanted us to expand what United Way was doing more broadly into the community. So we had this opportunity to start the movement, not just in Los Alamos, but also Rio Rivia County and so forth. So that was really a gratifying opportunity. And Cindy Padilla, the current executive director, if you want to learn what it means to be a volunteer, read her op-ed piece on the strength of you. It's fantastic. It's just a great message for anyone that's interested. Let's see, I've left out a lot of people here I've learned from. My pastor, Nicoli, my pastor at the Lutheran Church. If you want to know what God's love looks like being shared with people, just spend some time with Nicoli. She's an inspiration. Tony and Mikala and the folks from the Lanel Foundation, just a fantastic organization. You know what it started? $50,000 to distribute for education in northern New Mexico in terms of scholarships. That was a big deal. Well, it's approaching $1 million a year in scholarships, plus all the other things it does for education across the state of New Mexico. So it's a fantastic organization. Anyway, those are just a few of the examples, and it's been an honor to be associated with them. And currently now, I get to be on the board of the Senior Center, and I know very little about that, except I'm a senior. So I got a lot to learn. Thank you. And this, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And Joyce. I have known Joyce for a long, long time, back in the days of the Arts Center, so it's really a privilege for me to be able to honor her this way. Joyce grew up in a large family. After high school, she went to work in order to pay for college education. She began at Western Michigan State, then moved to San Francisco, and lived with her sister, continuing to work while attending the University of California, Berkeley. She completed a Bachelor of Science in Medical Technology. Then, 1958, she met and married Norris Nichols at the Lawrence Berkeley Laboratory, or the RAD Lab, which someone will have to explain to me later. Joyce secured a job as a tech in the same group, where she was called a nuclear microscopist? In 1963, Joyce and Norris began their family, joined by daughter Michelle in 1962 and son Todd in 1966. They moved to Los Alamos in 1968. While working at the laboratory, Joyce attended night school and earned a master's degree in medical science. Joyce has been involved in volunteer work since her days in California, knocking on doors and stuffing envelopes in support of Proposition 13. In New Mexico, she has continued to educate others about free and fair elections. Joyce has shared the same enthusiasm in volunteer work, supporting many local charities, such as the Empty Bowls for like 30 years to benefit self-help, to leading many years of back-to-school supply drives, which still take place today. As a 55-year member of the Unitarian Church of Los Alamos, Joyce has supported the church in many different volunteer roles and still participates with the Memorial Reception Committee, which she also chaired for many years. Joyce serves as a docent at the Pajarito Environmental Education Center, educating newcomers and visitors to the area. And many of you know, her son, Todd Nichols, is back in town to serve as a director at the History Museum. So the circle comes around. I'm sure there's some people that would like to share some comments about Joyce. Okay, here we go again. Ah, come on.
Hi, my name is Jeremy. I'm Joyce's eldest grandson. And just ever since they allowed me on an airplane by myself, I would be flying out to visit Grandma every summer. Every summer was a different adventure. We went whitewater rafting, we went to museums, we went all kinds of stuff. It was a wonderful adventure every time. I remember vividly one summer that we basically turned her kitchen into a chemistry lab. She taught me how to measure water accurately with the meniscus, and we did some titrations using a red cabbage solution. And I thoroughly appreciate her giving me such passion for science and technology, and just what a well-rounded person she helped me grow up to be.
Hi, I'm Sue Watts, and I really welcome the chance to sort of hold up a mirror to Joyce so she can see how the rest of us see her. I don't think she looks at the same woman that we do. I met you, I was thinking, and totally forgotten, was during the school backpack thing. That's the first time we had just joined the church, and I thought, what a neat thing. And you just had it all organized. So I was really, really glad to know you. Because for me, the word that describes Joyce is a doer. She is an activist of the best kind. Where others dither around, she does. She jumps in and gets things done. And I think she does it on so many levels, Joyce. You help the earth. She's one of two people in this room that I know of who does, let's see, what am I trying to say? She brings her own reusable containers if she's coming out to eat with you, so that she can take home food and not in those cardboard containers. So anyway, and also I think she's the only one I know who has a composter in her guest bathroom, which is, she's always looking for the earth. She has been a force, I think, in our local politics, which has strengthened not only our state, but also, I think, by example, our nation. She has done everything from the dreaded, you have done things from the dreaded phone bank thing, which I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, to not just, to also, I was really touched that you would be a companion to candidates when they were going for meet and greets. I think that having you in the car must have been a great support. Let's see, locally, I think she's been covered what she really does. We talked about the Unitarian Church and the school programs. And also, even now, she's still shepherding a bequest that a friend made to the church, and she is keeping us in line and on target. There's not much time to dither when Joyce is the head of a committee. It's great. And finally, it's the individual impact that you make when you touch people. One of the things you do is you see the potential in a person, and then before that person knows it, they're involved in serving the community in some way. So you just sort of spread it around. So I appreciate that. Also, I know you have been an emergency contact for many of your friends who are elderly and who do not have children in the community. And you kind of serve as a link with them, and I think that's a huge service. Also, I think you managed to find the perfect caregiver for a dear friend that brought a light to his life and made those last few days a delight for him. And personally, I want to say you listened to me when I was, we made many walks around Ashley Pond. And in your listening and your observations, and so this is how Joyce works, I was able to come up with a plan that made
Wally's last few weeks, exactly what he wanted. So from the earth to the personal, you are a fabulous woman. I hope you like the woman in the mirror and are proud of what she can do, because, my friend, you are a treasure.
Wow, Sue Watts, that's amazing. Hello everyone, I'm Stephanie. For those of you who don't know me, I'm just gonna warn you that I am a politician. So, like the pastor, don't hand us a mic.
Yes,
So I was very privileged to get a request from Sue, who had a hand in nominating Joyce to write a letter of support. And so I'll tell the story here that I told in the letter of support. But I just want to take one moment to appreciate the Living Treasures program. It's amazing that we get to celebrate our treasures while they're still here with us and like say our stories right to them. And I always learn so much about people I never knew before when I come to these programs, and so I'm very happy to be a part of this. So I don't know how many decades there are between Joyce and I. I'm not even going to try to figure it out. But you know how as you get older, you like watch the younger generations, you like sit back and you're like, wow, how can you move so quickly? How can you have so much energy? Well, with those of you who know Joyce, it's like the opposite. So my story about Joyce, and I was not like surprised to find out that you door knocked in California, because that was one of the ways that I knew Joyce. I know her through our church and I know her through politics. And she would door knock with us during election time. And a story was told about Barbara Califf, how like she'll be patient and wait for you. Joyce is 180 from that. So basically, we were, I think we were on Trinity or Oppenheimer, and she took one of the streets and I took the other. And I'm like going along with my clipboard and my list of names and doing my door knocking, and then pretty soon Joyce is like a cloud in the distance. And she comes back, she gets all the way down to the end of her street and back to where I was, and she's like, what are you doing? I've already finished the street. We have many more streets to do. What? You're taking too long. And it was just, this like reminder, yes, Joyce is a force. Anyone who's ever worked with Joyce knows that like she is a presence and a force. But y'all, age shouldn't slow us down. Like that's so inspirational for me. Like I can't wait to be Joyce's age. So thank you so much for including me in this, and congratulations to you. Well deserved.
Joyce, you have always been a hero to me. If you all know someone that, well, you probably all know someone that you could categorize as a Cheshire cat. You just have to walk into a room and you see her smile, and it's a wonderful welcome. I think when we were newly here to Los Alamos, which was 1974, I'm sure you were one of the very first people who greeted us at the Unitarian Church. And there's one other aspect I wanted to mention, and that is, I'm sure you all know someone who will say, about whom one would say, if you need to have an answer to that, ask Joyce. I mean, there is nothing that you could need to know about the workings of, well, many organizations, but all the ones that she's involved in, I'll bet you anything that you are the key person. And I'm not sure how we're doing it when you're not there, because you have really made a difference to so many people. And now to have your son in a job that meant a lot to me for many decades, that's an amazing and wonderful gift too. And I wish you the best of luck, Todd. You're already off and running. So, Joyce, for so many reasons, you deserve this richly, and couldn't think of anybody who epitomizes this nomination more than you. So, thank you.
Hi. Hi, Joyce. So I am, Joyce is my son's grandmother. That one's a hard one to talk about, but so I've been in her orbit, in her family's orbit for about 18 years. And through that time, I've seen Joyce, get down, elbows, volunteering and talking. She ropes me into things, and I'm like, okay, I'll go, And it's just so fun to be around Joyce. And if you've been around Joyce or walked into a room with Joyce and you've heard her laugh, it's pretty infectious. It's just, it echoes and makes everybody just feel at ease. And so, I loved the food color analogy. I thought that was really appropriate. And so this was mine, is Joyce drops seeds of inspiration everywhere she goes. She, whether it's volunteering for a project or, bringing brownies to a picnic or just sitting in silence with somebody who needs support, she's there. And so, thank you. And well deserved.
Hi there. My name is Ian. I'm Joyce's grandson. I just want to emphasize how much support that she's given us all. And it's an amazing amount of help. It's really just such an amazing thing to have you be my grandma. And one of my favorite memories with her is me clutching a piece of paper while we go around Smith's and try to find supplies for kids who really need school supplies. And we're gonna end up donating those school supplies to people, and just that, and me dragging her around Smith's, of course, and her, of course, dragging me back to where we actually need to go. And it's an amazing memory, and I just want to thank you for all the help that you've given everyone in our lives. So, thank you.
Joyce, it's your turn. Let me have you put this on her so I can.
Yes, sweet. Yeah, I know. Goodness. I'm not totally quite sure what to say, but what kind of comes to my mind is this is kind of like we all, the three treasures, being able to go to our own memorial service and hear all these nice things that people say. So it kind of leaves you, wow. So, I want to just thank everybody. I've been here, I think 55 years, or is that about what it is, my kids? And so I know a lot of people around town, and I guess, yes, I'm a hands-on person, but I think all of you who have volunteered in this great town of ours, you don't do any of this by yourself. If it wasn't for all of you who help make these good things, I mean, Los Alamos is a terrific town when it comes to volunteering, doing good works, not only in town here, but in the valley. Don, where'd you go? I was just so delighted to hear that you were spearheading the backpack for the refugee children that have throughout the state, but Los Alamos supports that well, and I'm so glad you're keeping it going, and you've done a great job.
And I do want to let you all know that I'm very appreciative of, I have all my family here. 7 of them came from California. I really was a little dumbfounded when they did. I did ask my daughter, who lives in California, would she mind coming? But, and I didn't expect my grandchildren to come. They're all reasonably young compared to me, and they're all working hard. They had to take off work. Jeremy, who did talk, got in at 3 a.m. that you on Thursday night, so I much appreciate it. And I just, I think I said when Bernadette interviewed, it just came out that I really did not like Los Alamos when we moved here in '68. Yeah, I was very fond of the community I lived. I had to leave it, and it kind of broke my heart and all. But as I told Bernadette, I wouldn't live anyplace else now. I love the people. I love all the good works they do. So that's it, and thank you all very much.
Well, everyone, thank you for being here today. Hopefully some of you have become inspired to volunteer a little bit more in the community. I know that most of us who are here today already do volunteer quite a lot. The living treasures who are here, can we have you stand up once again? Those from this year and from years past. You all are such an inspiration. Many others who are in this community too deserve to be living treasures. Maybe someday they will. We have a limited amount of time and resources. So if you're ever interested in supporting the Living Treasures Board, we do rotate in and out. A couple of us are new this year. I think 3 of us are new this year. Some people have served for 10 years and may be ready to rotate off at some point. So please let us know. We do have snacks, I hope, have been set up while we're doing this by Trujillo Farms. It's mostly organic and all fresh. So enjoy and mingle. Thank you so much for coming.